everyone, welcome to Post My Video with me and my co-host, JHaller.
Hey, how you doing? And, wow, should we explain to them what this is all about and why we suddenly have appeared on Everfree Network?
Yeah, sure. This is a channel devoted to all things editing, so we're gonna delve into the world of PMV, animation, anything that has to do with ponies and entertainment, pretty much, of the YouTube kind. And I guess we're going to do contests and interviews with people within the community who make content. As such, one of the people that we have on tonight, we'll get to that in just a second. We do, I guess, tutorials. We're going to go through sort of teaching people how to make certain elements in videos, breaking down PMVs and breaking down animations and things like that, and talking about how they're made.
All right. No, I'm really just shocked that we were able to trick Final Draft into giving us a show. I was like,
no, man. I think you drugged him.
No, I bribed him by driving him around. There was a point in time where he didn't have a car, and I happened to live right near him, so. You know, he's like, well, if you want to go to the Mall of America meetup draft, I'm sorry, you're going to have to give me my own show on your website. That was the basic deal of the whole thing. And, so let's milk this for as long as we can, I'd say. No, I think we should just introduce ourselves as well. For those who don't know what we do, why are we, you know, the people who should be doing this, or what gives us any right to be the people who's, you know, showcasing videos and giving tutorials and such. So, I'll give a short introduction for myself. I've been making videos for over 2 years. Or no, I'm sorry. You've been making videos for over 2 years. I've mixed this up. Yeah. No, I've been making videos for about a year and a half though. And, worked on a ton of great projects. I've been a part of Anthology 2, making PMVs. And right now I'm currently the host of the top 10 pony videos of every month. In fact, actually the voting video for that came out today. You should go check it out. But, you know, I've been doing this for a while, and meanwhile, you over there, Mr. BVids, what have you done for this community?
I've been doing this for 2 years. Started off a long time ago, just making simple PMV stuff, and kept working my way up. Been involved with Anthology 2 along with Jay, and just mainly been making content for the community, and just I don't know, enjoying making videos. I mean, if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't keep doing it. Other than that, I guess my most recent video that came out was 6. It was a PMV that I put out. But,
and everyone loves it, but I can't put it on my top 10 because Porter Robinson doesn't like YouTube.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't like ponies, he doesn't like YouTube, so he just decides to shut us down.
He went to the record label and was just like, I won't have this. No. You take that down right now. You don't let that
Only on Jay's video, though. Only on Jay's video.
Only on mine. No.
But yeah, that's me, and yeah, so we're here just giving you a little bit of a tour. Editing.
And so we have we're going to be talking with somebody today. Before we do that, we'll just kind of give into a little bit of I don't know, how we all doing today kind of a thing. And the big news obviously was the whole Vegas con, which I attended, which Final Draft dragged me out. No, okay, I actually said, yo, Draft, I can show up, I guess. And so I got to hang out with a couple days with the EFN people. Got to meet a lot of cool people, and for the most part, the con was a good time. But that was because I left the day before the whole fiasco happened, so I was not there for the chaos, and I was not that horrible stuff.
Yeah, but, I didn't get to do that. I got to sit at home and take exams, so you got to enjoy the good con times, and then I get to. This
is the benefit of when you get out of school. You can actually go and do on vacations and have fun with that.
You get free flights too, so.
Yeah, well, we don't.
Toot your own horn.
Yeah, I have that. I have that advantage. It's kind of fun, but.
Anyways,
I think it's time we get to the person we wanted to talk to.
Why don't we just say who it is, okay?
Because I wanted to keep it a surprise, but whatever. We already kind of told everyone. So our guest today is Mr. Griffin Lewis of Friendship is Witchcraft, aka Sherclop Pones, who just came out with his latest episode of Foley Matropony just a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
So, Griffin, are you there?
Yes. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Sorry for keeping you silent.
Good. I said in the chat here, I don't know how to connect to the IRC
You're
thing
trying to
on-
connect to
on
IRC?
Everfree?
You should be able to create
It's-
a nickname, and as long as
Yeah.
it's...
It says error.
Does it
can't
give you the
remember-
Flash daemon error?
It just says error 2031.
So basically, final draft, your site is broken for our guest. Thank you.
So, am I not going to be able to read the comments or
You know,
whatever?
see, I have the same problem. What I use is MIRC, or you can try to use Mibit if you have that. But
Sure, I
another-
have Mibit.
So while you can try to do that, you can try to multitask here. We can ask you questions, and
Sure.
you can try to figure out your IRC situation at the same time. But we're just going to start off basically talking about how it's been about 7 months since your last full episode release.
Yes.
And I believe that was Cherry Bomb at BronyCon summer,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yes.
So, and you made some shorts in that small time, but
yeah,
yeah,
that was
right.
unfortunate that it took so long.
mhm.
And I wanted to explain why it took so long.
Yeah, and that was the question. Basically, what was the reason for the long hiatus? Basically,
Well, basically, when we finished up the Cherry Bomb episode, we took a nice little break. And then we started working on episode 8. And at the time, we were going to do the Gabby Gums episode, which we thought would be a lot of fun. It's got the CMC in it. And then we just kind of got to a point where we realized that the script, we couldn't get logically from point A to point B with what we wanted to do. We always try to think of funny things to do with the episode, like clever twists. And so our clever twist for this episode was going to be that instead of, taking those embarrassing pictures, the CMC, I don't want to ruin it. Basically, yeah, they do something else. They publish other stories in the papers, and we were thinking about the logistics of changing those newspaper articles, and also just the narrative structure. Like, we were going to, restructure it and include clips from other episodes, and it just wasn't working. It was like, oh man, how are we going to get from this scene to this scene with only 2 sentences, right, of dialogue? Because we can't choose the footage. So as a result, we just scrapped it. And we said, okay, let's do the wedding episode instead. That one's also a lot of fun. But that one, at the same time, required a lot of work, involved a lot of editing with what we wanted to do. And we just went for it. And we wanted it to come out in December. And we have been working really hard to get it out in December. And then it turned out that this animation was going to be much longer and more complicated than we had anticipated for the song. And so we had this animator guy, Johannes was his name, and he did the Portal in Equestria videos. That's how we found him.
Okay.
We were looking for someone who could do high quality, nice work, and also work really fast.
right.
As it turns out, he could have worked really fast in December, but during January, his school term began, and he basically couldn't work at all. So a whole month went by, all of January, where he just couldn't work on the animation. We were just, we weren't communicating that well. We thought that that he was working on it through January, but then he at the January said oh, I could only do this much. I had too much schoolwork. So we felt really bad about that. And then we thought, okay, well, how are we going to make this animation? It's already 1 month over schedule. How are we going to do this? And then we kind of had this idea that each of those verses would be a different art style. So we had Saigash do those really amazing, kind of surrealist looking art work.
Yeah, I remember.
And then we had Olive Bacon do a kinetic typography for one of them. Basically, we got a bunch of other people, and we said, can you do this little verse of animation in 1 week? And they all could, and that was very, very nice. We got Oblivion Fall, who does that wonderful Lyra and Bonbon with hats video, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, he did that.
we got him to do the chorus animation. So basically, we had at the time got one animator, and we thought we knew what we were going to do, but that just totally didn't happen the way we expected, and so then we kind of scrambled. And I think the final result looks really great. Actually, I'm really happy we did what we did, because
It's almost you can't really tell almost unless you were told that it's 4 different people. Was it 4 different or 5 different people who had worked on
5
it?
different
Yeah,
people.
you can. It's really hard almost at
Wow.
times, except for the final verse where there's that art style. It's hard to tell that there were all these different people working on it because it does flow together so well for that song. So
Right.
excellent. That was excellent.
Yeah. Oh, I can see the IRC chat now, so that's nice.
Yes.
Let me retweet your
All right.
So, just I guess going off of that, while you were making this episode, I guess starting back in early November or even before that?
Yeah.
I
Pretty much
guess.
that.
Oh, well, I guess at some point during that time, I guess Hasbro slammed you with a cease and desist order, and did that halt production at any point? Because I knew that, pretty quickly you guys came out with a website to re-up the episodes that were, more or less taken down, and, I mean, your channel was still up, and you still had all your subscribers, but you had to find a way to still get these episodes to the public who still wanted to view them. So, what did you do, I guess, to get the episode, or not the episode alone, but also this website up and running so quickly? I mean, did you have help, or did you have people?
Yes, definitely. So yeah, Hasbro put on their little YouTube auto ID thing, which, as far as I can tell, is very good. It will know if you're using footage from an episode.
Oh yeah,
Or from one of the episodes.
I had unlisted on a sub channel with 0 subscribers. It was just some sub channel, and I had an unlisted episode, and it still caught it there. So
yes, so it's very good. Even if it's only 1 minute long, it will catch it. However, it won't take it down. It'll only ban it in the United States if the video is longer than like 10 minutes. That's my understanding. You can still upload pony videos as long as they're shorter than that, because they're trying to, stop people from uploading whole episodes, even in little parts. So yes, obviously the Witchcraft episodes got taken down. We, at the time, were very optimistic that our thing was a parody and would fall under fair use. So we filed these fair use claims. We were very satisfied about that. We weren't worrying at all. 2 weeks later, they all came back rejected. So they rejected all our fair use disputes. And then it said, if you want to file another fair use dispute, here's a more detailed form. But if we reject this form, we will take down the video and we will put a strike against your account, which really sucks. Because once you have a strike against your account, you can't upload videos that are longer than 10 minutes anymore.
Right. You also get rid of the unlisted feature, just a lot of things.
You get rid of a lot of features. So that was a huge risk, and we were very afraid, and we weren't sure what to do. And so at that time, I had foolishly, again, thinking that no human being had actually read my fair use disputes. I was convinced it was just like, some intern or whatever didn't even read it. He just clicked no because he's trying to err on the side of caution. So then I typed out a very detailed fair use dispute, and I put it into YouTube, and I submitted it for Cherry Bomb, the 7th episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent that away, and I felt very confident about it. But then, as time was going by, we didn't know what was going to happen. We were very afraid of a strike against your account. And so then we started the migration to a website. And the website was programmed by Nighty, who does film fiction. And man, is he talented.
Yes, he is.
Made that website very quickly, and it looked super professional. We had like a lot of fun. We created this Google Docs that everyone could edit and add fan content to, and it's really cool. So yes, check out the site. It's www.sherclop.com, and you can see all the episodes there. We finally ended up choosing Vimeo as our website hosting people. We were trying to get on Blip, but that did not go well, and they are very basically they're hypocrites in one sense, because they allow like the Dragon Ball Z abridged series and the Yu-Gi-Oh abridged series to be on their website, but they weren't going to allow us for some arbitrary reason. Probably because they knew, they were aware. After Googling, probably when we said, "Oh, add Friendships with Witchcraft," they probably just Googled Friendships with Witchcraft and clicked on the first video, and it said blocked in America because of Hasbro.
Right.
So then Blip was probably like, "Well, we're definitely not going to put your videos on our website if they were blocked by Hasbro." You know, they probably didn't understand, and they didn't care because, you know, we're not that popular, so why should they let us on their website? Yu-Gi-Oh and DBZ are super popular, so you know. They will make money if they put those people on the website.
Also,
whereas us,
they're looking at how can you help us out, and we figure, well, you're probably more trouble than you're worth.
We're just a legal liability, basically.
Oh, okay.
I've also heard that when it comes to Japanese animes and things of that nature, they don't usually go after them because it's overseas claims. Because most of the companies that own these types of titles, you know, like DBZ, Yu-Gi-Oh, Bleach, or anything like that, you know, you're seeing AMVs of, the companies are overseas, so they're not going to bother trying to file claims as much as companies that are within the United States that, Hasbro would totally go after people. I guess now they're feeling, you know, put on the big boy pants and we got to defend our copyright sort of thing. When for the longest time there was about a 2-year grace period where they just let free roam, you know, people posting as many episodes as they wanted, as many things as they wanted, and they weren't taking down anything.
Right. I think we can move on to, I want to talk about your latest episode you just released, The Foley Matropony. And so here we have this idea of Twilight. She's in love with her brother, but he's not her real brother. They're not biological. So
I love that
first
idea.
of all, yeah, I know. First of all, you know, when you came up with this whole idea, you know, what is kind of the method? How do you approach making ideas for these videos? Do you have a planned out storyline, or do you kind of just make it up as you go?
Well, here's the method for each episode. We start, me and Jenny will watch the episode, and sadly Jenny could not be here. She's in school.
Yeah.
We watch the episode, and we try to come up with the clever twist or clever premise, basically. And we have, in every episode, there's clearly a subversion of the original plot. You know, in episode 1, it's actually Pinkie Pie very reasonably explains what they have to do to get rid of the parasprites, and no one listens to her. That was the twist, right? In number 2, it's like this creepy sleepover fanfic thing. In number 3, the dragon's actually Fluttershy's father, so on and so on. In number 8, the twist here is that Cadence is actually completely good, and Twilight is completely nuts, basically. She really is possessive of her brother. And that was the premise that we rolled with, right?
Right.
And we actually played with a lot of different premises. There's sort of two very distinct premises. But so we were, you know, writing it, and we realized that the joke of her being possessive of her brother, if we were to just amplify it to absurdity or whatever, where it's like, oh, he's my brother, he's my brother, he's my brother. I get to choose what he does, blah, blah, blah. Like, it is funny, but it's also very similar to the joke in the actual episode, right? Or the premise of the actual episode. So then we kind of rolled with the whole, what if she's in love with him, twist, right?
Right.
And then, but you know, that's so creepy. That's so incestuous. So then we, just said, oh, they're not biologically related, which is obviously a total, like a cop-out in a sense.
Yeah.
That itself became the joke, the big joke of the episode. And we wanted to play with the idea that maybe they were biologically related, like you weren't sure the whole time. But nah, there's only so much you can do in 17 minutes when you have this much footage. I mean, I think it's pretty amazing that we were even able to literally change the plot into Cadence gets left in the cave by Twilight. Twilight marries her brother. Like, we don't choose the footage for Friendship.
Right.
But you
Or we
alter
don't-
it to
we don't
your own.
create it. We don't create it. We have to alter it from what we're given. So that's where the creativity and the cleverness really comes in. Is figuring out how do we take this existing 22-minute thing and turn it into something completely different. And the result, I think, is a lot of sloppiness in terms of certain lines where, you know, we have all this footage and, you know, you've got this one line that you still haven't written yet. And it's just like, oh, you know, in the original episode, Twilight said something like, now I have to go. And now you have to change that line to something funny, but there isn't, you know, the best thing for her to say is probably just, I need to go. So because for the sake of the narrative. So a lot of times you sit around wondering, like, just changing the lines to make them funny is a challenge. And sometimes they can be sloppy and make you go like, you know, it raises some eyebrows. Like, why did they say that there? Yeah. And I totally get that.
Mm-hmm.
And the only explanation is because we're not in control. If this was our own thing, if we were actually like choosing the animation, then it would be much smoother, much cleaner. Everything would be perfect. But because we have to work with all this existing footage and we're limited by what we can loop and stuff, there are a lot of sloppy moments. Oh, but as far as the writing goes, what we do is we find the script online that someone else has written for the original episode, put it on a Google Docs between me and Jenny, and we just systematically go through every line and change it into a new line that we think is funny, with the same amount of syllables. It's got to have the same amount of syllables to match the lip sync.
You guys usually cut down the episode though a little bit, like
yeah. Then we'll choose which scenes to cut as well.
Right.
In our script, we will rearrange some scenes. And we just write, like, we just have a lot of fun. And a lot of times we're in our own worlds. I'll just be reading through the script and I'll say, oh, wouldn't it be funny if Cadence said, you're wearing an outfit made of corn dogs.
Yep.
He said, you know how much I love corn dogs. And then, you know, I put an annotation in the script that says, Shining Armor will be wearing a suit made of corn dogs. And then, you know, we're allowed to do those things.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier for me to add visual gags because I'm the editor, so I can actually see like what is physically possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jenny will come along and, you know, she will be in another part of the script and she'll write, you know, oh, everything worked out for me. That's how you know I'm the good guy, etc. So we'll be we won't even really be in a close communication as we write the first half of the script with our jokes. Like, we'll just be in our own. we both have a sense of what the episode's going to be like, and we're just writing. And then usually the first 50% takes us like 2 days to write. Then the next 50% the next 50% of what remains takes a week. The next 50% of what remains takes another week. So writing gets harder and harder. And then finally you have this full script written, and you read through it from start to end, and you sort of notice these logical inconsistencies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the editing phase comes, where it's like, okay, so we have this idea going on here, we have this idea going on here. You've got three sentences, you know, Rainbow Dash line, Pinkie Pie line, Fluttershy line, and you somehow need to get from this point in the narrative to this point in the narrative and have it make sense.
Good luck.
And so that is the challenge, and that is why sometimes, and a lot of times we do some really clever, like, crazy editing just to get things work. Like, but yeah, overall, that's our method. That's what we enjoy, and we sort of expect that the viewer will realize that we have edited the video, because that's actually something I realize why people. You know, whenever an episode of Witchcraft comes out, people are always so critical. They're like, oh, I liked it more than that last one. I liked it less than the last one. And it's kind of funny when I read their criticisms, because their criticisms really are in depth. They really are like, oh, what happened with the Smooze plot line? What's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
And I think people forget that we didn't make this. We didn't animate this footage. We altered the footage. So the idea that it doesn't make logical sense, or that there are some like non sequitur lines or some sloppiness, I almost expect people to forgive us because it's like, I'm sorry we couldn't include the Smooze plot line. Their Smooze does not appear in the actual show.
Yeah, well, the other thing is, I mean, the actual show itself doesn't follow a set defined storyline. Like, each episode doesn't necessarily build off of each other. Yes, they reference each other sometimes, but there is no continuity in that sense. Like, so, I mean, you have total free range right there to do.
There was actually some continuity, though, in your latest episode, because you had the moon in the sky at the one point. So, you know what?
We love to do that. But the thing is, like, I don't want people to get misconstrued that that's not quite continuity. Like, it is continuity.
You're cycling your jokes.
It is continuity. It's a callback, right? But it's a subtle callback. It's just like, she can control the moon, so in this one shot background, we're going to include this moon, because then people say, oh, I remember that from the last episode.
Really?
We've been doing that since episode 3, right? We decided Spike fell off the roof, so in the next episode, he had little casts on his feet, right? And that was like the precursor of the callback gag, where it's like, okay, so little things from previous episodes could be brought back. And that did escalate, because I don't think we brought anything overt back in number 4. Oh, the bounce house, maybe. Twilight mentioned how she was making waffles in the bounce house, and I think at another point in the episode, or maybe episode 3, they said something like Twilight isn't allowed to go in the bounce house anymore. So, you know, things get brought back in small ways. In number 5, you know, the Sweetie Butt episode everyone loves that episode. But then they always complain that the ending is abrupt and overt. And I guess we kind of blew it on that, in that regard. But like, the ending is supposed to be abrupt and overt. People always ask questions. What happened with the apocalypse? What's going on? And it's like, well, there was never going to be an apocalypse, because this is a slice of life comedy bit, right? So the ending of that episode was that Rarity chose her sister instead of choosing Fluttershy's demonic apocalypse thing, which is very similar to the actual end of the episode, where, you know, Rarity chooses her sister instead of getting dirty or whatever. And that's it. That's the resolution. There's never going to be any more Smooze plotline. There's never going to be anything like that ever again, because there's no way to include it. It's, you know, that was supposed to be a standalone episode.
But now people expect otherwise now.
Yeah, and we included, and I mean, well, that's the problem is with that episode, we included our first hanging question, right? Like, okay, so in episode 4, Pinkie Pie built the portal. In episode 5, Rarity mentioned that Pinkie Pie made the portal with Fluttershy in the spa house, right? And Fluttershy said something like, "Oh, Pinkie made a portal," and she kept asking questions about it, right? Because Pinkie Pie, or in our series, you know, Fluttershy hates Pinkie Pie because she's like Frollo, right? And she's like Esmeralda. Anyway, so then that question isn't really answered in the episode. Right. And then in the 6th one, we hear Fluttershy say, "Oh, if Pinkie can build a portal, then so can I." And she unlocks that tentacle monster thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Which is, again, that was just supposed to be silliness, right? It's silly that in this world of happy ponies that there is this spell that could potentially release a tentacle monster, right?
Yeah.
And we had to explain again. The footage, the original footage is Fluttershy in her cottage, and she's too scared to come out. But in our version, she isn't scared. She's evil, right? So how do we take this existing footage and the line that we did in the last episode? How do we combine these two facts into something that is clever? And in our mind, we thought it was perfectly clever that she doesn't want to come out because, well, at the time, she said something like magic police, but basically she's got this giant monster in her house that she has to deal with, which is why that was the twist that we included. But I think so many people don't get that. They forget that we aren't in control, and they're just sitting, scratching their heads going, oh, you know, why the tentacle monster? What is this building towards, right? This must be a building story arc. even though it's not really a story. No, there's no story. It's just kind of a series of little dominoes that happen to spill over from episode to episode, but that isn't the main story. Yeah.
All right.
I feel like we should move on to another question, seeing as we've stayed on one. I know it's just like we get wrapped up in the conversation, but something that I really wanted to ask, and that I felt like it kind of just goes across all of the episodes that you've done, is between you and Jenny, when you write these episodes out, and you pick episodes sometimes with songs in them, and sometimes you actually interject a song in for specific parts, even if it didn't have a song. The question is, do you have, as yourself, you are a musician. I mean, that definitely factors into the whole process of how these episodes are made, but I'm wondering, is it harder for you to actually come up with the comedy that fills the majority of these episodes, or to actually try to write these catchy songs and jingles and then try to, I guess, incorporate that into, I guess, the storyline also of the episode? Because usually the songs also have to do with what's going on with that character, or what's going on in that episode. So what's usually like the process for you? Is it harder for you to think up of comedy, or is it easier?
Well, I don't think it's harder to do either. It's hard to compare them. I would say every aspect of the Witchcraft for both me and Jenny is moderately difficult, basically. Coming up with the melody, that's easy, right? Mm-hmm. Coming up with well, sort of, right? Like, the problem is it's hard some of the times, it's easy some of the times, right? Like, when I edit these episodes, most of it's incredibly easy, but then occasionally you have to edit that one clip that involves so many layers, masking, all this crap, right? And that takes a long time. Okay, fine. The same goes for the script. A lot of times these jokes just write themselves. They're a lot of fun. And then all of a sudden we get to this one line. It's like, I have no ideas. Maybe Jenny will have an idea. Then Jenny has no ideas. And then we're sitting on this line for a whole month. Like, what should this be? And then that's difficult, right? And the song, when I sit down to write a song, sometimes it takes me 5 minutes. I wrote Pinky's Brew in the whole song from start to end in 10 minutes. Whereas Sweetie Bot's Big Race took me, like a day. Mm-hmm. But so it can change from difficulty to difficulty. And I should say, with this recent episode, the It'll Be Okay song, I was trying to write like a fun, catchy electro swing thing, because I thought that would be a lot of fun if Twilight's, instead of BBBFF, you have this electro swing dance song.
Yeah.
Problem was, I tried to sit down and write an electro swing dance song, and I realized how difficult that was. It's hard to write good electro swing. So, in some sense, writing music can be very, very hard. And in fact, in this case, it was so hard that I just decided to write something completely different. And I dug through my old project files, and I found one, and I adapted it to what you see in the episode. So everything is moderately difficult. Like, okay. I wouldn't say it's easier, like, for me personally to write the songs than it is to write the jokes. That's not really true. Mm-hmm.
Well, I know that in this episode in particular, and it's something that I've found pretty funny, is I've also noticed on I think maybe it was your secondary channel that you have, you put out a LSP, Littlest Pet Shop, American Horror Story intro, and I noticed that in this episode you had about like 8 references maybe to Littlest Pet Shop just like hidden in the background. And I'm just wondering, are you really like a big fan of Littlest Pet Shop now, or are you just gonna like start your own Littlest Pet Shop?
Oh yes, we're starting a bridge series called The Littlest Hex Shop.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there you go.
Coming up soon this summer. But no, seriously, I love Littlest Pet Shop. I think that show is hilarious.
Yeah.
I think it's funnier. Currently, it is funnier than the My Little Pony show. Like, there are just more jokes per minute than in My Little Pony. And they're more sophisticated jokes. Really, it is just more like an actual cartoon. Yeah. Where there are silly jokes. It's fun. It's not super cute like the Pony show is. It's just a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. It's made me bust out laughing several times. Yeah.
No,
You're
Pet Shop.
you're speaking blasphemy to some of these people. Some of these people are refusing. Like, I will never watch that show.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing because these people are bronies and they're
the people who are supposed to be able about tolerance. Are just like, I will not tolerate this.
Maybe the hub just realized that they can actually make good shows, and this garnishes them money.
Well, I checked it. I mean, I checked it out. It really wasn't my thing, but I really didn't seem to think it's.
Have you seen The Butler? The Butler.
I saw Toxic Butler. Yes, thank you, Limey. But
anyways,
okay. I want to let's get to a little. I have a more lighthearted question for you. So one thing that I really liked in the latest episode was that you just randomly inserted a Sock and Boppers commercial into it.
Yeah.
What? So is this basically a thing where you're just a fan of kind of those 90s childhood type of commercials and things? Because there are other little references I've seen, such as, remember the monologue with the Luna episode where she was sent to 1,000 hours of space camp?
Yeah.
And I was really, the last time I had heard about space camp was when I was a kid. I was watching like Nickelodeon and what was that show called? Global Guts, I believe. There's like one of the prizes was space camp. So I was thinking like, are you just a fan of just kind of these
90s culture,
these jokes from is this like just basically you taking your childhood and
I mean, I think referencing a 90s commercial for whatever reason is funnier than a 2000s commercial, funnier than an 80s commercial. It just is. And I think that's because for the people watching, that's when we grew up, that's when we were kids, so it really resonates with us. But we all remember Sock and Boppers. But actually Jenny and I had that idea for a joke for a long time. We'd always wanted. We have a lot of jokes that we've always wanted to do, but haven't been able to because the time isn't right. And one joke we always wanted to have was that in the middle of a Witchcraft episode, there's just a commercial or something for any. It doesn't matter what it was. It wouldn't matter.
At least you didn't take the easy way out and use a GAC commercial just to get the easy laughs.
Yeah, and that's my point. That's actually my point. Is that we had this joke a long time ago before GAC was a thing.
Yeah. And
we definitely had this feeling that when we were writing the episode, like, oh, everyone's going to expect GAC. And we'll deliver on the Sock and Boppers. But then it's kind of like, but Sock and Boppers and GAC are very similar in concepts, right? It's like cheesy 90s.
Yeah.
So maybe we should do something different than cheesy 90s, just because people are so used to the GAC thing. But in the end, we tried many different options of stupid commercials. And the funniest by far was Sock and Boppers.
Oh, yeah.
So we just ended up going with
what made it funnier was that you put it, I believe, right after a serious whole situation had gone on in the episode. It's like, oh no, what's going to happen with that? Oh wait, Sock and Boppers. Okay, I can relax a little bit now. But no, I just really loved how you did that. So bravo, good sir. Moving on, I guess. One of the things, obviously, the obvious criticisms about this episode is there are the people out there who don't like the whole shipping joke. And they, what is your reaction to those people, those fans who were saying like, this is wrong, Griffin, this is wrong.
I'm crying for reals.
I don't know what to say. If you don't like it, then just, okay, fine. You don't like it. Like, I don't care. I mean, I think it's a fun joke. I think that it's clearly a comedy series, so we're not actually advocating, incest or anything like that. We're just joking with the concept that, is it okay? Yeah. Obviously, it's not okay. Actually, the reason we did it this way, we were very inspired by, Jenny and I watched Dexter, right? On Showtime. And,
that Dexter, yes.
Yes. And in season 6, I mean, I guess I don't want to have any spoilers.
Oh, I follow the series, so I'm caught up.
For the people in the stream. I'll try to vaguely. But basically, there's a character who goes to a therapist and just talks about how great her brother is, okay? And the therapist gives the stupidest advice ever.
Oh my god.
Jenny is a psychologist too, so she especially laughed at this idiotic advice from the therapist. The therapist says, "Gee, you're certainly talking about your brother a lot. Maybe you're in love with your brother."
Now I know.
And then the sister goes, "But he's my brother." And then the therapist reassures her by saying, "But not by blood."
It's like a Game of Thrones thing too.
Saying, "Oh, you're not biologically related, therefore it's not weird that you're attracted," or something like that. So obviously the worst kind of advice you can give to someone when they're sitting on the therapist chair, because that, you know, you're an authority figure when you're in that therapist chair. And if you say maybe you're in love with your brother, you're just going to feed into their own psychology. Like, yeah, maybe I am in love with my brother. So
you were very obviously unapologetic about the whole thing, because there was the one line I think that a lot of people will remember is when instead of saying I insist, I incest.
yeah,
That kind of thing. Like, you were making jokes along the lines of that. So I mean, it was pretty easy to tell you were fully, you know,
right.
fully embedded with the joke. You believed in it enough to make it the whole point of the episode. So it's hard to believe, you know, you would be like, you were expecting probably some kind of of people saying like, oh, they don't like this, but you know,
Right.
You know, I think as you can see from the stats on the video, the likes and all that, people, the vast majority are, you know, they get it's a joke, they like it.
Yeah.
No worries, right? So.
Oh, that also reminds me. I mean, since you got the takedown from Hasbro, you did still upload the video though on YouTube. I'm wondering,
Yes.
is that just your defiance against them to be like, hey, we're still gonna upload it to YouTube, and I guess if you take it down, like, big whoop, we still
Yeah.
have our website. Like, is that kind of the deal?
Basically, yes. I mean, it's not more of defiance; it's more of a calculated risk. Basically, there is a chance. So as soon as we uploaded it, it got flagged, right? And then we submit the fair use dispute. So I suspect that this episode will be on YouTube for 2 more weeks, and then it will be gone from YouTube. So if you want to watch it now, because it's going to be gone in 2 weeks. It'll be, you know, blocked in all countries, or blocked in America. Sorry.
Right.
Which is like 90% of your audience, I'm guessing.
Yeah, right. Now there's also a chance that Hasbro or YouTube or whatever will realize that we've already submitted 7 other fair use disputes, and that we're pushing the line here, and that we know better, and so they're going to give us a strike on our account because we uploaded this video. That's very possible. I would be very angry and upset if that happened. There's also a chance that they're going to realize what we're doing, that we don't give a basically, and are defying them, and be so angry at us that they delete our account.
Mm-hmm.
These are 2 possibilities. Basically, there's a small chance that these things would happen, and that we took a risk and said, okay, let's do it anyway. We'll deal with those consequences if they occur. So right now, Jenny and I are contemplating making a backup account right now, making a video on YouTube saying, hey everyone, this channel might not be up for much longer. Please subscribe to this backup account. And then trying to get our subscribers to migrate over to a new account. Of course, I don't know how much YouTube follows individuals, because like if we upload a video that says, hey everyone, go to this new account, and YouTube, the actual people from YouTube, like, go to our channel, click on our video and see what we've done, they might ban our new account, right? So
Well,
so we're not really sure what to do. We're kind of just gonna wait and see, play it by ear.
mm-hmm.
If they delete our account, though, I'll be really angry, because then there will be no easy way of telling our current subscribers to move to this new account, because our account has been deleted.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
I mean, I guess you have like the outlets of like Twitter and sites that'll like kind of, you know, plug your videos, but that's not really the same. Like I've said the same thing, that if Hasbro ends up taking down, you know, mine or countless other channels that, you know, use their content, I'm okay with it personally, because I feel like I've ridden on the good graces of them for long enough, when a lot of other companies and corporations would have shut us down way long time ago. But I do feel like it's kind of like a little too late to the punch anyways. Like, I feel like by now, if they're starting to take down stuff like Fighting is Magic, Your Own Thing, also the Flim Flam Philosophy, which is another type of, you know, parody series. I just find that, like, it's a little late, and they're just more or less crushing out things that were...
Yeah.
I don't know, I almost felt like it wasn't necessary at this point.
For the most part, they realize that it's good advertising, because we're doing it all for them at this point, and so to take it down would just already... They know, they already know that taking stuff like that down is it's going to send a bad message. Some cases, like with Fighting is Magic, they did it because they wanted to protect their IP. But, just, you know, they know it's already it's advertised for them because of the stuff we make. So I'd say that's a good, I think, hopefully, we hope that, they see your stuff and they, don't take it down, obviously.
Yeah, it's,
We'll see, but we'll
it's not gonna
see.
happen. It either gets taken down in a week or 2 weeks.
We
or...
we don't know.
So,
But we can talk about something a little better, a little more lighthearted for you guys. Because well, listen, you were just recently announced as a guest to Everfree Northwest, so congratulations on that.
Yes, that's going to be a lot of fun. We went last year, and it was really great.
Yep, I remember seeing you. And
might end up attending as well, but it's
don't worry, Griffin. This time I won't crash your panel. I'll avoid that. But as of right now, though, I mean, I don't know whether conventions you may have talked to or may have approached you about attending, but do you think that for future projects you may be using conventions as a way to release more of your episodes, or is that just kind of the timing, if the timing's right kind of thing?
Yeah, usually that's the case where, an episode takes 2 months to make.
Mm-hmm.
There's a con in 2 months. Okay, let's shoot for the con. And we have tried to release a video at every con so far. They've been getting shorter and shorter though. So yeah, I think Everfree is in June or something.
Yeah.
And what is it? It's almost March.
July actually. No,
July?
It's the
July
4th of
4th
July
weekend.
weekend, which is terrible planning. I feel like same
Yeah.
for like how Lost Pegasus was planned in the middle of February. It's like the weekend right after 4th of July when people are hanging out with their families. I just feel like not a great weekend to plan it. Maybe a weekend after would have been better, but regardless, that's when they're doing it. So we'll try to make it out there for that. So
yeah, but no, that's good to know. At least if it works, it works. If the timing is there, then that's what you'll do. And I don't know. I don't think I'll be seeing you there, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love cons. They're a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I see people in the chat. Some people I've met, apparently. It's amazing how everyone goes to these cons.
Griffin, remember that one time I met you? We were in the bathroom hallway and you were standing there?
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, I kind of remember you. And I only think we have one more question for you at the moment, and that's basically, do you currently have plans for your next project, or now that you've released your episode, are you just in a break mode right now?
Well, sort of. I've got a lot of schoolwork that I'm working on right now.
Sure.
We're definitely not working on the next episode. Here's what we have in store. We have a short that we're going to make that involves the CMC and Shirley. It's the short when they go to unlock Discord in the beginning of season 2. That little scene. We're going to do a short with that. We haven't thought too much about our next episode yet, other than that we want it to be hopefully something with season 3. If season 3 has any good episodes that can be parodied. Although I'm not sure about that. Maybe something with Babseed. I would love to do a twist on Babseed. So yeah, but we haven't thought about that at all. And right now I'm working on a song with a collab with So Great and Powerful.
Oh, really?
And we are thinking about uploading that to... I could upload that to my personal YouTube, or I could just upload that to the Sherclop Pones account. And we could just... Because, more people will see it that way, we could just slowly release more and more original music to our Sherclop account and try to, because right now Sherclop is just exclusively about Friendship is Witchcraft. But maybe we could slowly transition into, it's partly about witchcraft and it's partly just music. And even other videos, right? Like, sketch comedy or, a little pet shop, a bridge, it's an idea. I'm just saying, the pony thing isn't going to last forever.
Exactly.
So maybe we should slowly start to trickle and transition into other content that people will enjoy in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely look forward to that, to more different types of content on the channel over the next year.
Okay, well, if you're going to be doing a Littlest Pet Shop abridged, are you going to be the one voicing Zoe Trent, or is that going to be Jenny? Because I know you like Zoe a lot.
I would be Zoe, of course.
And she would be a robot. So.
I would be all the characters and I would do the background voices.
Oh my!
Yes.
Oh gosh!
Well,
Well, I believe that's all the time we do have. So I want to
yeah.
I want to thank you very much, Griffin, for joining us today on
Yeah,
the very
no problem.
first on our very first episode. I feel that we had a great conversation, and I look forward to hopefully you're welcome back on the show in the future. So
Okay, no
thanks
problem.
again, thanks again, guys. Yep.
Yeah, thank you so
No,
much.
no, I cut off Griffin. I was a rude person. But no, thank you very much, guys, for listening. And we're going to be here next week, same time, Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern, with a new guest. I already have that lined up, but we'll